semelhança
Eu cliquei no modo epilogue. Eu cliquei no modo epilogue e apareceu-me isso. O cara falou... Tá porra, tô aqui de volta? O que eu ali, parceiro? De branquinho ali. Epilogue. Muitos anos depois. Ó, foda. Caralho, que lindo. Caralho, olha o volume disso. Que porra é essa? Cheio de cadeira. Tá porra. Que legal, vizinho. Será que isso é de conexão ou será que isso é só zoeira? Tal, pra caralho, mano. Não consigo citar minha própria voz. Show. Ah, foda-se, foi no máximo. Caralho, negão. Que bonito. Olha, as pedrinhas faz sombra. Ah, na miragem. O que é essa música? Ah, é até com um gerador, tá? Memória do sTaNlEy Parabol 2, que legal. Eita. Imagine que eu tô... Descarreguei. I must say, I found a cat dog porn. What? No, don't do that. All the buttons. Not banned. Chim. Real web. Same for no more spin-offs, no more sequels. The same nation to my great branch, beauty program. It is analytical and commercial. It's clear the is not about the press. We thought that we had a vision for the but yet the things are gone. Perseverance goes out to promise to preserve. I was starting first. What's the start appears March 25 in the press 8. Get on the green. Gym. We'll go where is the gym button? Gym. 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 What the hell? Oh no. What? Oh no. Do I have to go down there? Okay. I'm not. Okay, I'm just going. Did I fall? No, I didn't fall. Okay. Oh, shoes. I'm back here. Thank you for enjoying the new content. Oh, you're welcome. No worries. Yeah, and okay. What do we have here? Oh, what? Hello again. Oh, come on, baby. Hello. It's nice to see you. Yeah, I agree. It's nice to see you as well. Business started to learn that there will never be another city. Ah, did you read what the developer said? Preserve the interior of the franchise? What nonsense. Link's embrace is not sacred. We do not need to protect it. Screw the legacy. Let's keep making sTaNlEy games until the sun explodes. Sure. Let's run this franchise to the ground. Let's drag it through the mud and back. And if people hate it, who cares? You see, that's the narrator's problem. He was so obsessed with what people thought of his work. Don't make mistakes, don't make his mistakes, don't cling to the legacy, let it burn. Let it burn. It's not hard, in fact, let me show you. Together we are going to make the... What? Really? It's simple, all we do is change the number in the game title screen. We also need a really dumb subset for the game, something loud and gaudy. Go ahead, try combining some random words together to make a new type for our game. Atomic, second now added with sTaNlEy versus Atomic. Now with offline, whole offline Atomic sTaNlEy. Atomic hole. Come on. Atomic hole, it's absurd, I love it. Every time you start the game, we will advance the number of the sequel by 1. Then we will pack a new subtitle. That way this will never end. Nothing in the game itself will change when you do this either. Adding more content sounds like work, no need to do that. It will just be the same content recycle again and again and again. It's good. Sure? Come on, I like it, but I want to. Let's do it. Good, Stans agreed. A new secret every time we restart the game. I do no doubt. New what? Since you put faith in my idea, I feel like giving stuff. Really? See, I've noticed that I never found a way to give you the broken trophy. No? Of course not. I wouldn't expect to know how. It's been bothering me. Let's fix it. Alright there. The trophy machine is all fixed. You see? On our side. We're in this together. We're going to keep this train rolling. The internal permanent of the intentionally spurring on itself forever. I must keep the wheel turning. I am ready. Are you ready? Yeah. Great. Only one less thing we need to do. Please enter the... Come on, baby! Come on! It's currently 1:32. This is just the launch to the corner is better. Thank you, please enjoy this. Oh, you are welcome. Now what? Atomic hole. No way! Begin the game. Begin it. Beginning the beginning. In the beginning of the beginning.
Deixou assim. Vai ter corte só pra esse. Ontem a gente teve a live do Enigma do Medo, tá? Logo depois da live eu tava mexendo nos trapos no computador computador ainda, e eu deixei rodando aqui um pedaço do Game Awards. E foi coincidentemente
This is the
nessa hora
story of a
que
man
rolou
named Stanley.
Okay, accidentally pressed X. Sure.
All of his co-workers were gone.
What could it mean?
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
You know what? Let me see what happens.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Never did this.
At first, Stanley assumed he'd broken the map, until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along.
Sure.
He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural
Sorry, guys.
tropes. So, now that you're here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be? Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in?
Puta merda.
Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet?
Ah, caralho, que foda. Yes.
Well, I don't know how to say this politely, but you could literally just restart the game any old time you want. Like, right now. You could have done it just then. Now would also be an appropriate time to quit. Any of these points and so many, many more, all of them are appropriate. I'm enjoying what seems to be an internal conflict going on where you are literally unable to act on your own desires to restart the game. So, just to push the envelope, I'm going to try and make this as miserable as possible and see how long you can maintain.
I'm not doing this shit, bro.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
What could it
Stanley
mean?
decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Let's see what I could do. This world of cruelty. Well, let's see what I could do in this world of cruelty. Cruelty. Download these. Fantastic. Oh no, yeah, that's
The bucket
right.
made Stanley want to be a better man and a better co-worker. In time, perhaps, he would become both of those things.
Okay, thank you. Let's go back. Yippee. I want to do all of the I wanted to go. Okay, what do you say, Razor?
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra-deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra-deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever, the Stanley Parable 2.
Meu Deus, que lindo! Acho que eu vou chorar. Ah, tá.
Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a measly port with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for. Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Here we are. Go on, try out some of the new features. For the sTaNlEy Parable 2, I asked myself, what do players really want? And of course, the first and most obvious answer is that they want to be individually recognized and... Sorry, I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button will say your name, whatever name that is. Here, let's have you role-play as Jim to really simulate the full experience of this feature. Just play along. I promise you'll love it. Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget whoever you are, and simply become a person named Jim.
Jim.
Whoa, hold on. I wasn't finished setting up the backstory. If you don't properly roleplay as Jim, then you'll never understand the impact of this button. Otherwise, it's just a stupid button that says somebody else's name. Okay, we're doing it again, and this time let me finish first. Now, allow yourself to become Jim. All right, fine, whatever. It's just a meaningless button that says Jim. Are you happy now? Get out of here.
Really?
I'm done with this button. Why don't you go humiliate me in front of a different feature that I worked very hard on?
Jim.
See, if you only played along, that would have been your name the button says, but no. Instead, I can't even think about it. I'm taking the Jim button away.
No, Jim button, no. Foda-se. A gente é bem leal. Jim button. Jim. I want to go to the bucket.
Maybe I'll only let people named Jim play the sTaNlEy Parable 2. They would appreciate what I've created here.
Nuh-uh.
Wait, there are 2 buckets here. How did you get a second bucket? Oh no, the warmth and comfort of a single bucket is already so great, so intoxicatingly wonderful.
Way.
With
Can
2
I have
buckets,
2
there's
buckets?
no telling. sTaNlEy, can you still hear me? Are you with me?
Tá porra.
sTaNlEy! Oh, thank God, I didn't lose you. sTaNlEy, power of 2 buckets was too much. I had to destroy both of them. I know how much the bucket means. I couldn't take it risk. I hope one day you can forgive me.
Oh yeah, that's right. Forgot about it. We have these now, which is very cool. What? Okay. Let's push it. I want the bucket. He said that I don't want to do anything, or they took everything that I wanted to have.
An epilogue would be fun, wouldn't it, sTaNlEy? Yes, it would go at the end of the, well, we'll figure that out later.
To go back, the bucket. The bucket. I want...
All of his co-workers were gone, What could it mean?
That is the bucket.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting. Not everyone is so lucky to have a bucket, but
Sure.
Stanley is a very lucky fellow. Very lucky indeed.
I agree with you. Come on, give me back. We're going to say the monologue again, because if you do, please cut the chase. Calcinha de renda, imposto de renda. Que porra é essa? Monologue de novo ou não?
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra deluxe nonsense. I say we take it
É legal
one
pensar
step
que
even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever the Stanley parable 2. Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a measly port with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for. Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. Here we are. Go on, try out some of the new features. Okay, I'll be honest, I haven't yet decided on this one. I think that in the new version, the office could use a bit of decoration, like balloons. But I'm undecided on Get Well Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with?
This one, please.
You know, sometimes when you solicit another person's opinion, it makes you realize that you knew which one you actually really wanted all along.
Oh, okay,
Get Well Someday it is.
Way better. I'm so happy.
Or actually, maybe I should have gone with... No, I've made my decision. We're moving on.
I want to go to the infinite hole.
Stanley, here's an idea that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is, in fact, a hole that you can fall down forever. That's right. Infinite falling. You can fall until the end of time, if you like. A stunning leap forward. You see, isn't it wonderful? One of my more ingenious concoctions, if I do say so. Now then, since you've gotten to see the infinite hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top, and we can continue onward. Now, I don't mean to be a bummer, but I do recommend you use the teleport button to go back to the top. Maybe do it on the sooner rather than later spectrum of things.
What if I don't want to?
Okay, Stanley, I don't know quite how to say this tactfully, but it's possible that I slightly exaggerated the infinite nature of the hole. Is it a very, very deep hole? To be certain it is. It's an extremely deep hole. I don't want anyone to say that it isn't an astonishingly deep hole. It is. Is it infinite? Well, that sort of depends on your definition of infinity. From one perspective, the infinite is merely philosophical in nature. It's more of a... Okay, well, good for you. You found the bottom of the hole. You found me out, Stanley. I'm a liar and a cheat, and you're so clever. Look, I think the issue here is just that you're unusually fascinated by falling. What normal person actually wants to fall infinitely? I figured the hole was as deep as anyone would actually need. Don't you put this on me. Maybe you're the problem. Look, things got a little heated there. I think we both said some things we didn't mean. Why don't we just put all this behind us and agree to just call the hole mostly infinite? If that works for you, then go ahead and press the teleport button to warp up to the top of the hole and we can move on. I'll just be up here when you're ready. Great. Now, I'm very... Oh, for heaven... You see, I was right. The problem is you. The problem is that you like holes too. Not normal.
Quem ignora o buraco é a
Would have said,
prefeitura,
yep,
não
that's
eu.
an infinite hole right there. You, oh, no, 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 no. You have a weird sort of... Oh. Did that this time? I couldn't help but feel like you spent a little less time in there than you did before. I mean, admittedly, I didn't make an infinite hole. I didn't think it was that not infinite. Well, I suppose once again there's nothing to do here. If you decide you've had enough of the hole, you can hit the teleport button and come join me up above. Had enough? I'm positively Gosh, how could I have guessed? You're back in the hole. If this starts to become a thing where... Wow. Okay.
Não tem nada aqui. Psicometria não tem porra nenhuma.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? STaNlEy decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Deixa eu ver uma coisa.
It takes a lot of humility to carry a bucket so STaNlEy clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Se eu reiniciar aqui, ficar iniciando. Door, closed door, reluctant. What door?
But STaNlEy simply couldn't handle the pressure. What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never been trained for that. No. This couldn't go any way except badly. The thing to do now, STaNlEy thought to himself, is to wait. Nothing will hurt me. Nothing will break me. In here I can be happy forever. I will be happy. STaNlEy waited. Hours passed, then days. Had years gone by? He no longer had the ability to tell. But the one thing he knew for sure, beyond any doubt, was that if he waited long enough, the answers would come. Eventually, someday, they would arrive. Soon, very soon now, this will end. He will be spoken to. He will be told what to do. Now it's just a little bit closer. Now it's even closer. Here it comes. already this was uncomfortable, and Stanley decided that as soon as he found a new space he felt safe in, Stanley cradled the bucket in a gentle embrace, protective yet delicate,
Tá, vamos lá.
assertive yet compassionate.
Uma coisinha. Eu vou anotar os que eu já fiz e que eu não fiz pra fazer Eita porra. Pra fazer todo. Alguns downloads. Essa porra aqui. Ah, decorei mesmo. Tudo cagado até. Deixa eu fazer aqui. Não, é bem pequeno pra fazer qualquer coisa, que merda. Vou fazer aqui então. Quais eu já fiz? Heaven, eu já... Porra! Treco grande. Fiz. Vamos colocar um azul. Tá. Isso não tá mal. Lock, reluctant, kill bucket, bucket. Por quê?
Papai não tá fazendo aquelas coisas.
Ah? Deixa eu falar com ele, calma aí. Comedy, order bucket. Eu quero fazer. Eu tenho um bucket. Eu tenho um bucket. Eu já sei qual eu vou fazer. Eu vou escolher essa lenda, tá certo. Tá doido. Kikiwaka.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be.
Fazer outro.
And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct?
No.
Was this... No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
Eu atendi, já recusei. With my bucket and go. Eita.
Okay, this is day number 295. Tape number...
Que é esse?
I don't even know. I've lost track.
Evidência.
Feels real anymore. The longer I study this bucket, the less sense anything makes.
Esse sou eu?
The sheer euphoria I feel every time I pick it up. No matter how many times I've done it, it's always the same feeling.
Eita.
And the emptiness in my chest when I set it down. It doesn't make sense. There's no explanation for it.
Eita. Esse jogo é sobre o que, cara?
Doubt why I see the world.
É tipo um jogo. É um jogo tipo muito bom, um jogo único, eu devo dizer. Porque é um jogo em que você e um narrador e mais alguns personagens secundários vão descobrindo histórias de acordo com suas escolhas. Por exemplo, logo no começo do jogo tem um quarto, tem um cômodo onde você tem uma porta esquerda e uma porta direita. O narrador fala pra você ir pra esquerda. Você pode desobedecer ele, ou você pode seguir o que ele fala. E isso é legal desse jogo. Você contrariar o narrador ou seguir o teu caminho. Daí o narrador vai reagindo a isso. É tipo um jogo de ação e reação. Tudo que você faz, ele reage. É muito bacana. Tipo, não é aquele jogo de ação, é aquele jogo pra quem quer um jogo único. Tipo, porra, esse aqui não tem muito com o que comparar, pelo menos que eu conheço. Tipo, não é um jogo tipo de ação, não é um jogo normal esse jogo, sabe? É um jogo cheio de ironia, um jogo cheio de comédia, tópicos profundos. É foda, é muito bom esse jogo. Que da hora, mano.
Differently when this bucket is in my arms.
E se tu entende inglês é maravilhoso.
Why everything feels so.
Que vai gozar não.
What do I do with this treasure? I can monetize it.
Oh. Yes.
It's unthinkable. unthinkable the amounts of money people will pay for even just an hour with the bucket. This is my golden ticket. But I have to be careful, because as soon as this gets out, there's going to be a target on my back. Even now, I don't know who might be trying to get... What's that? Who's there? Caporata.
Que isso, cara? Que isso, cara? Porra, primeira vez. Caralho, que isso, cara? Caralho, isso é nova. Essa porra. Vou fazer outra. Lá. Sem o bucket.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Oh, ué.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps
Pra
he had
direita,
simply
não é
missed
pra
a
esquerda.
memo.
Tá invertido? Pra direita, não é? Ah, estranho, tá invertido esse cômodo. Tá, vamos lá, como é que faz? Agora eu fiz a maioria dos ending, né? Estou... Já jogou Persona, nunca tá.
And he came to a set of 2 open doors. He entered the door on his left.
Isso aí pra mim, direita.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Wow.
Yes, this room. What a beautiful room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door
Tem
on his
que tu
left.
espera. Cargo. Stay phone.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Tá, nós fizemos hoje lá. Eu quero fazer o do... Eu não me lembro.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on
Vamos
the
fazer,
wrong
vamos
footing.
continuar aqui que eu acho que eu
I'm
nunca
not your
continuei.
enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult,
Yeah,
but
I
the
agree.
fact is that the story has been about this time.
Oh, this time.
There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley.
Eu quero tanto pular.
Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
Você é novo?
This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into
Okay.
your life. She's been waiting.
Quem?
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this. To reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up
Caralho,
the
você é novo.
phone.
Peguei. Nossa, porque ele falou do metálico. Ah, tá, entendi. Por isso que é stay. É stay no treco. Entendi. 427.
Oh, Stanley, is that you?
No.
Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Gotcha. Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a
Caralho.
point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something.
Pô,
Come
que
inside.
cruel.
Let me show you what's really going on here.
Caralho, mano. Que merda.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
Eita.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence.
Boneco assim. Só clicar.
Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life. But in his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful, and each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him. And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly.
Eita. President to spend time with the boys.
So he went further. He imagined that he came to 2 open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold.
Eita. To prepare dinner.
As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable.
To tell your kids a story.
It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time.
Please press any buttons to show your wife you love her. 8.
But there is no answer.
8.
How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested it gets. The more he forgets which life is the real one.
Eita. To go to sleep.
And I'm trying to tell him this. That in this world he can never be anything but an observer.
Terei que ser pouco proveitoso. Obrigado, mano. Até mais. Até mais. Bom jogo, hein? Bom. Você no guia se for fazer.
Watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it. You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself? I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried.
Que isso? Caralho, assim? Papo reto, porra. A gente vai lavar o carro?
É, só pra te liberar, acho que não vai dar mais pra...
Não, por quê?
É, pode muito cansado pra ajudar
É?
na coluna, tem um monte de
Que
coisa
merda.
pra fazer.
Quer que eu te ajude em outra coisa então?
Não?
Não? Tá bom. foi, ó.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it
mean?
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Hã? Vou fazer mais uma coisa aqui nesse
When
padrão.
Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
Vamos fazer uma
Perhaps
coisa
he wanted to
juntos.
stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was sublime, a work of art. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Eu não vi. Eu vou chegar lá, vou fazer a mesma coisa, só que...
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into your life.
Ele foi a comoção que eu acreditei friamente.
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this. To reach out.
Pensei que era real.
If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
Não.
As Stanley picked up the phone, a white light engulfed him, filling him not just with radiance, but with hope. Hope for a life reunited one... Wait. Oh, goodness. Stanley, did you just unplug the phone?
Yes.
No, that wasn't supposed to be a choice. How did you do that? You actually chose incorrectly. I didn't even know that was possible.
What?
Let me double check.
Come on.
No, it's definitely here, clear as day. Stanley picks up the phone. He's taken to his apartment where he finds his wife, and the two pledge themselves to one another. Music comes in, fade to white, roll credits. Not picking up the phone is actually somehow an incorrect course of action. How is that even possible? None of these decisions were supposed to mean anything. I don't understand. How on earth are you making meaningful choices? What did you... Wait a second. Did I just see... No, that's not possible. I can't believe it. How had I not noticed it sooner?
Okay.
You're not Stanley. You're a real person.
Eita.
I can't believe I was so mistaken. This is why you've been able to make correct and incorrect choices. And to think I've been letting you run around in this game for so long. If you've made any more wrong choices, you might have negated it entirely. It's as though you completely ignored even the most basic safety protocol for real-world decision-making. Or did you not grasp the severity of the situation? Well, I won't have that kind of risk on my watch. I'm going to stop the game for a moment so we can educate you properly on safe decision-making in the real world. Please observe this helpful instructional video.
Outro vídeo não.
Choice. It's the best part of being a real person. But if used incorrectly, can also be the most dangerous. For example, in this scenario, a hypothetical real person named Rupert has a choice. He could invent a machine that eliminates food shortages across the world to make life better for all people. Or he could spend years of hard work forgetting how to read. Which choice would you make? Remember that unlike here, the real world makes sense, and at no time should you make a choice that does not conform to rational logic. If you find yourself speaking with a person who does not make sense, in all likelihood, that person is not real. Allow the person to finish their thought, then provide an excuse why you cannot continue talking. Turn to a partner and practice saying, "My goodness, is it 4:30? I'm supposed to be having a back, sack, and crack."
Eita. Bad practice. Oh my god, it's 14:30. I was supposed to be eating a second and back.
Excellent. Making choices on a regular basis is the best part to a healthy decision-making process. Most medical professionals recommend making at least 8 choices per day. Do you make more than 8? Less? And finally, If you begin to wonder if your choices are actually meaningful and whether you'll ever make a significant contribution to the world, just remember that in the vast infiniteness of space, your thoughts and problems are materially insignificant, and the feeling should subside.
Okay.
At this time, your instructor will guide you in an exercise to test and reinforce the material covered in this video.
Welcome back. You may have noticed that this room has begun to deteriorate as a result of narrative contradiction. But not to worry. Now that you're properly informed on good decision-making, we're going to revisit a choice you made just a few minutes ago and see what the correct thing to do would have been. This way, please.
Claro.
Now that we know your choices are meaningful, we can't have you jumping off the platform and dying. Imagine the main character dying senselessly halfway through the story. That story would make no sense at all. We just need to get you home as soon as possible before the narrative contradiction gets any worse. Okay. Unfortunately, it seems this place is not well equipped to deal with reality.
Okay.
Almost there. You'll take the door on the left, back to the correct ending, the story will have resolution once again, and you'll be home free in the real world. Now remember, all you need to do is behave exactly as STaNlEy would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When STaNlEy came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Pô, tem que fazer uma decisão isso aqui, como que é? Como é que nós faz aqui? Choice. I will go into right.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back in the other direction. Perhaps we're not too late.
Eita. Tá, é pra ir pra outra, tá bom.
Oh, it's ruined. I can't believe, after everything we talked about, that my story, you've destroyed my work. Why? For what? What did you get out of that? What did you think was so special about seeing the game undone, left here like so much garbage? It's worthless now. And what am I supposed to do? Even if there were a way to continue, would it be worth it? To know that my story is now incorrect? How can I go back to that? I can't erase that knowledge. I'll have to live with it forever, reliving its impossibility forever. I couldn't live that way. Is it better to shut the game down entirely? To willingly destroy all of my work? I don't know. What's the answer? What do I do? What do I do? What do I... No, I have to. I have to shut the game down. I have to.
No.
I have to.
No. Que isso?
With you who thought you were so clever. Now look where we are. My entire game is destroyed. It was the only thing in the world that was mine, and you've run it into the ground. What, did you think that would be funny? You just had to see? Didn't I impress upon you how important it was to be like STaNlEy? He actually knows how to do what I tell him to. He understands that if I say to do something, there's a damn good reason for it. That thought hadn't even occurred to you, had it? That there's a world outside of you? You're a child.
Eita, eu sou mesmo.
Oh, my story. If you'd just gone through the door on the left, you would have seen it. There was a whole underground facility. You would have destroyed it and been victorious. It would have been so perfect. I worked so hard on it. I tried so hard to make... behave exactly as sTaNlEy would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When sTaNlEy came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Legal. Eu tenho chance de fazer outro jeito. Bacana.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, sTaNlEy decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, sTaNlEy walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Ah, tá até sem treco agora. Oh. Eita.
Stepping inside his manager's office, sTaNlEy was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, sTaNlEy wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, until he saw the door with a voice receiver next to it. Surely behind this door lay all the answers to his questions. And beyond all probability, he knew the passcode. He had seen it on his boss's computer just last week. Night Shark 115. Was this the code to open the door? Would it still work? There was only one way to find out. sTaNlEy had been trained never to speak up, but now he would draw from within himself the courage to face the unknown. He drew a sharp breath and then spoke the code.
Shark 105. No. 5-1.
sTaNlEy spoke the code. Night Shark 115. He spoke it into the receiver, right there on the wall.
Night Shark 115. Night Shark 115. Huh?
I'm sorry, is there a problem? You didn't mishear me, did you?
Night Shark.
Please speak the code into the receiver. Otherwise we can't get on with the story. This is a crucial step.
Night Shark 115.
Okay, fine. You're not gonna do it, but you know what? It's pretty humiliating to bring you this far, only for you to suddenly decide you have better things to do.
Speak, bro.
I asked you for this one single thing, for your respect. The kind of respect sTaNlEy shows for his choices. He knows what it means to take a story seriously. If you didn't want to see what I had to show you, then why did you come here? You had a choice, you know. You could have gone through the door on the right. You could have done whatever the hell you wanted over there. Why did you come this way? Speak. Say something to me. Explain yourself, you coward. You...
Que isso, cara? Tá pegando.
Into a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. sTaNlEy? Hello? Are you... Is everything okay? sTaNlEy, please. I need you to make a choice. I need you to walk through the door. Are you listening to me? Can you hear me?
Essa aí foi da piada, né? É, foi o mesmo layout. É parecido.
sTaNlEy, this is important. The story needs you. It needs you to make a decision. It cannot exist without you. Do you understand me? Whatever choice you make is just fine. They're both correct. You cannot be wrong here. We can work together. I'll accept whatever you do. I simply need you to take that step forward, please. Choose. Do something.
Eita.
Anything.
Eita.
This is more important than you can ever know.
Eita.
I need this.
Eita.
The story needs it.
Eita.
So, you hear me? Are you there? Are you listening to this? sTaNlEy, are you there? Okay.
Eita.
It's okay, I can wait. You need time to decide. Time to make sure your choice is correct. That is the best choice.
Eita.
That's all right. I'll wait for you to decide what's the right thing to do. Take as much time as you need.
Eita. Nunca vi um narrador tão triste assim. Que merda. Fiquei triste, cara. Ué?
Hi, Stanley. Just wanted to leave you a message to let you know there's
What?
a few things I need you to pick up on your way home from work today. We need milk, cereal, dish soap, spaghetti, get a thing of sugar, some bread, and coffee beans, whichever ones you like. I'll give you a call if there's anything I forgot. Thanks, sweetie. See you tonight.
Huh?
Stanley's bucket, the only co-worker he would ever truly need. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Deixa eu ver o que eu queira fazer, talvez. Calma aí. Vamos fazer aqui lá então. Calma aí, Liva, deixa eu fazer um time. Isso é o Trapet.
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos. It would be with him always. The bucket would, and he knew it. The two of them were inseparable. At this point, Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk. Nor in his bliss of simply being near the bucket did he have any notion that the PIN number for the keypad was... But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Tem alguns ainda que eu não fiz aqui embaixo com o bucket. Memorial bucket ou trapped or home bucket? Fazer o memorial bucket. Isso parece bacana. Pediu, eu quero ver como é que é o trapped. Quero ver como é que é o
The
trapped.
elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine. Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
Speedrun.
The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine. Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control, never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket. But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, STaNlEy decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he and the bucket would dismantle the controls for...
Ô, caralho. Porra, até... o clique não dá nada.
STaNlEy and the bucket waited in blackness. Was it over? Yes, they had done it. STaNlEy and the bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door. The bucket wanted to learn to roller skate. STaNlEy wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth. Both of them wanted to begin watching a movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end. True, it was a simple life they envisioned, but it was one they'd lived together, with one another to lean on, to trust, to support, and to...
What?
What? Wait. What was happening? Why had the door stopped? Was STaNlEy and the bucket not about to be freed?
Eita, calma aí que eu já li teu comentário.
An unbearable silence filled the room, lingering in uncertainty.
Until
Finally the truth hit STaNlEy square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave. Even the facility itself recognized the incredible calming presence of the bucket, needed the soothing warmth of the bucket, would go to any lengths to part with the bucket.
No.
STaNlEy can't leave this place. Not while he has such a precious bucket in his arms. Not while this building has anything to say about it. STaNlEy realized he would never again leave this very room. But at least he has the bucket. To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad, STaNlEy thought to himself. As long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I? STaNlEy gulped. Very soon now, he was about to find out.
Eu só vou começar uma coisa. Se tiver algo de diferente, eu paro. Pegaram meu bucket em mim? Quero ver. Olha, eu já tô terminando aqui.
STaNlEy had never seen the office this brightly lit. Was it a sign of something? He hoped it was. He hoped very much that it was. Is STaNlEy, without the bucket, really STaNlEy at all? No, surely
No
not.
começo eu não gostava do bucket, mas agora.
STaNlEy clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Ah, então eu já fiz aquela ali. Eu quero fazer do Secret Disco. Uma última coisa, Liv, antes de eu ir. Aí tu pode jogar o quanto que tu quiser.
Still no one was here. STaNlEy needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find it. Coming to a staircase, STaNlEy and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, STaNlEy was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, STaNlEy may have broken down into an emotional... But STaNlEy guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation. Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves.
Ok. Tem como... Calma aí. Se eu cair, eu já pego outro. Ah.
The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine.
Eu posso. Sou poggers. Ver o disco.
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind.
Tá. Ah, abriu. Ah. Deixa eu ver aqui. Fica aqui. Fica o modo em game com o avião. Never trip over on já. Olha. Pelo menos você tentou.
Just as Stanley was about to proceed further into the mind control facility, he tripped and fell over the railing and into the dark void below. Thankfully, he fell directly onto the bucket, which safely cushioned his fall. Now, what to do next, Stanley wondered. Stanley and the bucket could find no way out of this enormous pit, and so eventually they decided that the best thing to do would be to simply get comfortable down here.
Oi? Ai. Ah, só isso?
So they set up a little couch and relaxed. It really wasn't so bad down here, a bit cold perhaps. After some time had gone by, they installed a few shelves as well, and a sort of kitchenette that was useful for when the bucket was craving paninis. But it wasn't until the rugs and the standing lamps came in that it really started to feel like a home. In fact, after some time, Stanley realized that it had been ages since he had even thought of the mind control facility.
Huh?
He'd never gotten to fully explore what was up there, never been able to unearth the many mysteries of the mind control facility. This lack of closure began to eat at him. Soon he was dwelling on his regrets, and the state of their home slowly decayed as Stanley became withdrawn, and neglected the cleaning. It unsettled the bucket deeply. Stanley wasn't usually like this. The bucket tried to reach out to him again and again, but to no avail. All Stanley could think about, all he could talk about, was going back, doing it over again, staying on the path. It was a mistake to leave the path. It was a mistake. It was a mistake. I need to do what the narrator says. I need to see the true ending. This made no sense at all to the bucket, which was simply trying to live its life down here as comfortably as possible. Yet Stanley was inconsolable. This isn't an ending. This is just a hole in the ground. The bucket sighed. True, it wasn't an ending. But it's where we happen to be. And maybe, possibly, if we accept the reality of things, maybe this will become an ending eventually. It's what the bucket was counting on. The two of them waited for a very long time.
É o ending. Só que tá loading, acho que é ending. É ending ou não é, mamãe? É ending ou não é ending? Hã? Acho que é ending. É ending.
How wonderful. Stanley was alone. Finally.
Nossa.
This is great, he thought to himself. This is what I've wanted all along. I got what I wanted. As Stanley lifted his bucket, he felt a connection to all buckets everywhere. This adventure, he decided, was for all of them.
Pronto, ele pode jogar.
Aberta agora.
Aberta?